Reach out and touch something near you. Feel it under your fingers. Your hand feels the surface, solid and real. It feels obvious. It feels certain. But here is a strange secret. You have never actually touched anything. Not once in your entire life. Not this page. Not the floor. Not the cup you are maybe holding. Not a single hand you have ever held. Not the person you love most. It sounds impossible. It is completely true. Real touch simply never happens. To see why, we go very small. Smaller than a cell. Smaller than a speck. Smaller than anything your eyes can see. Down to the building blocks of everything. Everything is built from tiny atoms. Trillions upon trillions of them. You are made of them too. So is the chair and the ground. So is the air and the light. Each atom has a tiny center. We call that center the nucleus. It holds almost all the weight, but it is astonishingly small. Around it floats a cloud, a blur of electrons, always moving. They never sit still for a moment. The electrons form the atom's outer edge. This fuzzy edge is where atoms meet. So this cloud is the surface of everything. Your skin is a landscape of these clouds. Whenever things meet, these clouds meet first, and the clouds do not like company. Here is the reason they refuse. Electrons carry a negative charge, and like charges repel each other. Two negatives push each other away. This push is electromagnetic force, one of the strongest forces there is. It grows stronger as they get closer. Push them nearer, it pushes back harder, like two magnets refusing to meet. So the clouds never actually meet. A tiny gap always stays between them. That gap is far too small to see, but it is always there. It is the reason nothing merges. Now watch what happens when you touch. When you press a table, this occurs. Your electrons meet the table's electrons. They repel before anything can touch. Your hand stops on a cushion of force, a cushion far thinner than a thought. Nothing solid ever meets anything solid. The matter itself stays forever apart. What you feel is that force, pushing back. The harder you press, the more it pushes. Your skin senses that resistance and calls it the feeling of touch. But touch is a message, not a meeting. Tiny sensors turn the push into a signal. The signal races up your nerves. It climbs all the way to your brain. Your brain reads the push as solid. It paints a feeling of contact, a feeling you have trusted forever. The feeling is real. The contact is not. Now look at yourself right now. You think you are sitting down. You are not resting on the chair. You are floating just above it. A whisper-thin gap holds you up. Repulsion carries your entire weight. The chair pushes and you push back. You balance on a field of force. You have never sat on anything. Ever. Now stand up and take a step. Your feet do not touch the ground. They hover on fields of force. Each footstep lands on repulsion. Every step floats a hair above earth. The ground pushes you up as you fall. You have walked a lifetime, touching nothing. The whole solid world holds you at arm's length. Now the part that feels strangest. Reach out and hold another person's hand. Your skin meets their skin, warm and close. It feels like the most real contact there is, but your atoms never meet theirs. A microscopic gap stays between you. Two force fields, pressing but never crossing. Your electrons and theirs refuse to merge. A handshake is a gap you cannot close. Now wrap someone in a hug. Your fields press close and hold. You feel warmth, weight, and closeness. Yet a hair of space always remains. You have never fully closed that space. A kiss is two clouds, almost meeting. Lips press, but atoms hold apart. Always almost. Never quite. Every hug of your life was across a gap. Every hand you held, you never held. Every kiss stopped a hair too soon. And still, none of it was fake. The warmth was real. The comfort was real. So what does solid even mean? We think solid means fully packed, but that is not it at all. Atoms are almost entirely empty space. Picture the nucleus as a small marble. The electron cloud is blocks away. Between them is nothing but empty space. If the atom were a stadium, the seed at center, everything solid is mostly empty inside. Yet the block feels perfectly solid, because solid is about force, not fullness. The fields resist being pushed through. That resistance is the whole feeling of solid. A brick wall stops you the same way, not with matter, but with repulsion. Look at a diamond, the hardest thing. Surely that is packed completely solid. It is not hard from being packed. It is hard because its bonds resist. Strong fields lock its atoms in a lattice. Every atom clings to its exact place. Push it, and the whole lattice pushes back. Hardness is stubborn force, standing firm. Softness is just force that gives way. This same force is everywhere around you. It holds up every solid thing you know. A bridge stands on repelling atoms. A mountain holds its shape by force. A table holds a cup without touching it. The floor holds cities without touching them. The same push lives in your fingertip, scaled up to hold the world together. Every solid surface is a field saying no. No, you cannot pass. No, you cannot merge. You can even feel this force directly. Rub your feet, then touch a doorknob. A tiny spark leaps to your finger. That is the electric force, made visible. The same push that stops your hand, usually silent. Here, a snapping proof. What about the warmth of a touch? Even heat crosses without contact. Jittering atoms nudge their neighbors. The push itself carries the warmth, so warmth too travels across the gap. What if you pushed atoms harder, harder and harder, into the same spot? The repulsion climbs toward infinity. It resists almost without any limit. This is why the world stays apart. It takes a dying star to crush it. Only extreme gravity can force it. In daily life, it never gives in. So your solid world stays solid. Even seeing is touch at a distance. Light bounces off those same clouds. The electrons catch light and throw it back. That returning light reaches your eye. It paints the surface you think you see. Color is electrons answering the light. So even sight is a game of fields. Think of how many gaps that means. Your body has countless trillions of atoms, each one hovering near the next. A whole self, held together by force, never truly touching even itself. The electron is stranger still. It is not a tiny solid ball. It is a blur of pure possibility, a cloud of where it might be. So the atom has no hard edge at all. Its surface is a fog that pushes. You press against fog, and it holds. Nature refuses to let them overlap. Electrons demand their own space. They will not share the same spot. This rule stiffens all solid matter. How wide is this untouchable gap? Unimaginably small, but never zero. Blow the atom up to a stadium. The gap would still be there. Shrink it back, and it holds. At every scale, a space remains. The universe keeps its things apart. Even sound reaches you without contact. Air atoms push each other in waves. A pulse of pushing travels to your ear, never touching, only passing the push. So hearing too is force in motion. And why can you see through glass? Its electrons ignore visible light. The light slips past, uncaught, so the surface stays invisible, yet your hand still cannot pass. Force stops your hand, light goes free. This is happening in every small moment. Tapping a screen with your thumb. Your thumb never meets the glass. Typing letters on a keyboard. Each key press is force, not contact. Picking up your keys from a table. They cling to your fingers by force. Turning a page in a book. Even the paper floats past your skin. Sipping water from a glass. The glass rim never meets your lips. So why can't you walk through a wall? The wall is mostly empty space. You are mostly empty space too. Two clouds of emptiness meeting, yet you cannot slip through the gaps. The electrons block every possible path. Their fields overlap and refuse to pass. So emptiness stops emptiness cold. A wall of force, not a wall of stuff. Run your hand across a rough surface. You feel every ridge and grain, but you feel force, not the grains. Bumps push your electrons up and down. Your nerves read that as texture. Smoothness is a steady, even push. Roughness is a push that jumps around. All of it. Force pretending to be surface. Touch cold metal and it feels sharp. Even that chill is force at work. Heat leaves your skin across the gap. Nothing touches, yet you feel the cold. Every sensation is force, decoded. Now dip your hand into water. It feels like you finally touch it, but water is atoms with gentle bonds. Its clouds still push yours away. They just slide aside more easily. So water flows, yet never truly touches. Wetness is force that wraps and clings. People once thought atoms were solid balls, small, hard, and completely full. Then a famous experiment changed everything. Scientists fired particles at a thin foil. Almost all of them sailed straight through. The atoms were mostly empty space. Only a few bounced off tiny cores. That is how we found the nucleus. Solid matter turned out to be a myth. So solidity is a kind of illusion, a trick played by invisible fields. Your senses only feel the fields. They never feel the matter beneath. The world feels solid because force is reliable. It always pushes back. Exactly the same. And so we trust the beautiful illusion. Step back and feel the strangeness. You move through a world you never touch, held always a hair away from everything. Every object keeps its polite distance. You are wrapped in your own field. It has cradled you your entire life. Nothing has ever pierced it. You have lived inside a bubble of force, separate from the world, yet part of it. It is not only the world you cannot touch. Your own body never truly touches itself. Your hands clasped together stay apart. Every cell hovers beside its neighbor, held in place by the very same force. You are a cloud of stars, held apart. Nothing in you presses fully together, and still, you hold together as one. The same is true across the cosmos. Stars, planets, and dust keep their space. The universe rarely lets things merge. From atoms to galaxies, a careful distance. You are part of that grand apartness. Think of everything you lean on. A bed that holds you as you sleep. You sink in but never land. Force cradles you through the night. A chair, a floor, a warm embrace, all of them, holding you just above. You have never once come to rest, always floating, always held, always near. Let us gather the whole idea. Everything is atoms with electron clouds. Those clouds are all negatively charged, like charges push each other away. So surfaces meet a wall of force. They stop just short of true contact. Your nerves feel the push and report it. Your brain calls that push a touch. Simple rules, hiding in every moment. Here is the beautiful paradox. You are sealed inside your own field, yet the whole world reaches you. Light, warmth, sound, and pressure. All of it crosses the tiny gap. Nothing touches, yet everything connects. Separation and closeness at once. That is the quiet magic of being solid. And yet you have felt so much. Every warm hand, every held embrace, every gentle touch of someone you love, every comfort carried across a gap. None of it was any less real. The gap did not make it hollow. If anything, it makes it more tender. Two separate worlds, choosing to lean close, reaching, without ever merging. The touch was never true contact. The touch was always force and feeling. A message your body learned to trust. Maybe that is the quiet wonder here. You never needed real contact to connect. Love reached you across the gap anyway. So the next time you hold a hand, remember the tiny space you cannot cross and let it make the moment sweeter. You have never touched anything, and you never will, but you have felt everything, and feeling, it turns out, was always enough.